ISL Prime League.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Coda. This is game number 1 of the first match of the night. It will be a best of 5, kicking things off with this player who is not on Rude Gaming. I apologize, I did say that earlier, kind of got it all mixed up, because I believe they are in the same house, but give it up for that yellow Zerg player.
My insanity, Petraeus.
And in the bottom right-hand corner, that red Zerg player, you know him from so many tournaments. Even he was a Kespa Zerg at one point. Right now, he's the WCS Season 2 champion. Can he become the ASL Season 5 champion? This is Root Hydra!
That's not Sandstorm lyrics. That is the sound of thundersticks banging together. All right.
Thundersticks going crazy for Hydra. He is one of those Koreans that I know there's this whole thing where people talk about like the faceless Korean, and he is certainly not one of those
Absolutely
Koreans.
Not. Yeah. He is he has quite the face, you know, the handsome fellow he is, but you know, Petraeus is looking to kind of put a few scratches on it, as he did go for an 8 pool, it looked like, maybe taking a thing or two away from Hyun. And he is going right on for it, as the Lings have already spawned and are going in the direction of Hydra's base.
You think of a guy like Hyun, who was always an aggressive Zerg, and you're like, okay, an 8 pool, I can see Hyun doing that. He was a player who, even when he was, you know, in his dominant streak, he frustrated a lot of people with his playstyle. And it's like, 8 pool, extra frustrating. And then you're like, Petraeus? Can he Hyun Hydra? We will have to see. Of course, it was a pool first for Hydra as well, which means his Lings are going to be coming on down the hatchery, about halfway done, but it is going to be taking quite a bit of damage. Hydra waiting for that opportune moment. He is going to be pulling drones down from the main base. And oh, this is really nice dancing from Petraeus. He needs, of course, to cancel that hatch. He wants to cancel the hatch. But
is he going to be able to do it, though?
Oh. Petraeus getting a pretty good wraparound with the Lings, but he doesn't have the numbers. The drone's going to be adding that extra beef, the extra HP, and the slight amount of damage, barely allowing Hydra to survive just a little bit longer. The Queen is now out. That ranged buff DPS going to be coming down the ramp ever so slowly.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Petraeus did set down an expansion behind all this, so he was not planning to end the game right there at all, and Hydra was able to put down that pool first, playing really safe, something that Hydra is known for. And Petraeus, I think, did a good amount of damage there. He ended up getting 2 drones, which evened him up for a little bit, but he also put that hatchery down, so it's not like he's in that situation where it's do or die, and he has to end the game right now. So, not ending it, but, you know, he's not out of it just yet.
Hydra going to be poking up with 5 Zerglings. The Queen's going to be able to allow Petraeus to pretty easily defend. Really, there's no way that Petraeus should be taking massive damage here. The Queen on the defense. Lings now being pushed away. Hydra does have his Queen pretty far out on the field. Going to be trying to snipe down an Overlord, which would be quite a bit of damage done to Petraeus, considering his, you know, low economy opening.
Yeah, and that Overlord is getting so low. It takes one more, and it's gonna get taken out. Ooh,
Petraeus just as that one died starts another Overlord, so he is now currently capped at 28 out of 28. Bit unfortunate for him. On Hydra's production side, we do have more drones going to be coming out, so already the drone lead that he had just going to be getting a little bit bigger. He does add on speed as well.
Yeah, that was a pretty big drone burst out of Hydra, bringing him up to 30. Petraeus is going to be getting this Queen, perhaps. Oh, but he's going to pull away just in time. Ooh. So I think behind all this, though, Petraeus has a bit of a journey, yeah.
He just needs to kill a couple more drones. Now his Lings are extremely low on HP, which is now suddenly a problem, as just a few units from Hydra could have killed off those Lings had Petraeus committed. Oh, that is a cute dance to try to avoid the main pack of Lings, which are just sort of right-clicked on one of the Lings of Petraeus. Now heading back in for a couple more drones. None of these drones are particularly low on HP. Petraeus does go for what could be called a scout, although he didn't really see all that much.
Nah, he did see the lair, though, which is a pretty big indicator of where Hydra's gas is going to be going. So with the gases coming out from Hydra, he's going to go up to 4. I assume he does want to go into some really fast Mutalisks, but Petraeus doesn't even have speed on the way. Actually, I don't even believe that he has enough to... Yeah, he hasn't mined enough to even make speed or a lair, so there's no way he's going to be able to pressure with Hydra's speed finishing himself. Oh, this is going to be a little bit rough for Petraeus, but he knows exactly what Hydra has the potential to go for.
One queen down, a second one gets killed as well. These are now fastlings inside of the natural of Petraeus, fighting straight up with drones. GG. The early pool for Petraeus is not able to knock down Hydra.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We are here on Terraform, another 2-player map between these 2 Zerg players. This is the playoffs of the ASL Prime League. Only one of these players will be able to make it to the semifinals. So who will it be? We have in the top left corner, representing himself right now, no longer on My Insanity, but he's still playing some StarCraft and some pretty good of StarCraft as well. It is
My Insanity, Petraeus.
And in the bottom right-hand corner, coming hot off of a win in game number 1, our blue Zerg, this is...
Root Gaming, Hydra.
And here we go. Pool first, coming out from both players. Didn't expect anything less here from Hydra especially, just because I feel like he believes himself to be the better player here, but he probably recognizes that Petraeus is pretty strong and just doesn't want to die to anything dumb. And I think he's making the right call here. It's not like Petraeus really capitalized on it by doing anything, say like a hatch first to get a slightly better lava count in the early game, but like a burst of lava is really what the hatch first gives you, in case you do want to get aggressive or just have a really nice round of drones with that first 2 live range decks. So where will it go from here, Cybert?
I don't know enough about these 2 players to say whether like the very slightly earlier gas coming out of Petraeus is indicative of anything. Obviously, I would assume he's going to be heading towards that Zergling speed, but as you kind of mentioned, you know, Hydra, after winning that game number 1 against a cheese, maybe he's looking to cheese himself, so maybe Petraeus is thinking, all right, I'm going to go pool first, and then I'm going to hit with maybe like really fast roaches or upgraded roaches. There's so many ways that he could go that I'm just intrigued to see what is running through this little mind of his.
I wonder it as well, because it looked like he was gearing up for mutas in the last game, but it makes me wonder if it was only because it was off of an 8-pool defense. But I feel like anything that Hydra would have done in that last game would have worked out for him, as he was a little bit, he was ahead, unquestionably, at that point in the game. But let's see exactly how it does go down. You know, Petraeus wanted to get a quicker win, or maybe even just a hatch cancel, but wasn't able to get it. So this time he just, sticks to his guns and decides to open up with that pool first. And we'll see exactly where it does go from here, as the Baneling Nest of Hydra is going down, but we don't see that here from Petraeus just yet, as I don't believe he's mined enough gas for it.
Pretty much as soon as he killed off that scouting Ling, he waited a couple moments, and then of course he got that Baneling Nest. So possibly just the gas count leading up for Hydra, but he does indeed, as you mentioned, want to go Banelings. He's going to be taking a look. He's like, all right, you've taken your 3rd already. That is good information to know. And he's probably going to be very happy considering the early Baneling Nest that he's going for. We've got, of course, the pack of Lings on the south side. 6 Lings in total going to be moving out. We've already got our first Baneling morphing in from Hydra, as the lair also is on the way.
Oh, wow. So Hydra is going to go for an attack here, maybe to try to cancel the 3rd and then go into some tech of his own. But that Baneling getting spotted by Petraeus. The Lings of Hydra don't have speed yet, and if Petraeus is able to get this, oh, that's actually really nice here. Petraeus gets a little bit of breathing room and knows that Hydra wanted to get a little bit of aggression done himself.
moments before speed finished for Hydra as well. So just barely out of time for that defense. Now going to be attacking the hatchery a little bit. A spine crawler going to be coming down back at home for Hydra as the Baneling Nest is on the way for Petraeus as well. A big flood of Lings already came out for Petraeus. Now it's the defensive flood of 10 Lings coming out for Hydra as he does have to defend his natural drone line. And certainly that Baneling Nest, or that spine crawler, was a good choice.
It was, and it allowed him to be a little bit more aggressive if he wanted to, having a few of his units onto the map and not worrying 100% on defending. And that's going to be really nice for him because he's going to be going for a Spire. Getting that Spire in order to try to just get any kind of edge that he can against that early third out of Petraeus. Notice how Hydra has not even put down his third yet. He's going to use those meters to get some map control, get a few overlords, and if Petraeus doesn't see this coming, he could even lose that third base here if he doesn't get any Spore Crawlers out.
Really annoying in this moment to lose an Overlord like that for Hydra. Almost loses the Baneling, barely manages to stand up the defense. Gets a little bit of splash damage on some of the Banes of Petraeus, but Petraeus has quite a few Banes still moving forward to back this up. Pushes forward with the Lings to draw the fire of that first Spine Crawler. Now into the drone line goes Petraeus. Can Hydra pull drones well enough? There's the pack. Good splitting from Hydra. Loses 5 drones and a surround on the Spire. Isn't quite going to be able to get it for now. Baneling's going to be moving in for Hydra. He's looking for those juicy hits. Every bit of damage on this Spire could be deadly as it's getting very low on HP. Almost below 200 there in the main. Not a lot of damage done yet for Petraeus. The Morphine Banelings on the left side are getting canceled by Hydra. One will not finish.
And
Hydra
it doesn't
has
even
held.
finish. Wow, Hydra holds. He manages to keep his Spire alive, and if he loses that, then pretty much his whole strategy goes out of the window, and Petraeus is up a whole base with no tech disadvantage. But now the Spire is done already, and how is Petraeus going to be able to try to counter this? He hasn't put down any Spore Crawlers just yet, but he does have quite a few Queens here on the map.
Ooh, into the sight blockers were those Banelings going. They were probably hoping for some, massive Ling detonations. As you mentioned, no Spore Crawlers coming up for Petraeus. He may be waiting until the last possible moment before reacting with those Spore Crawlers, but it's going to have to be soon as the first couple of mutas are now out on the field.
Yeah, I mean, what is he going to do? He's just going to try to keep Hydra on his side of the map. He's not taking any safety precautions, and if he doesn't, he's going to take a lot of damage here. Your Queens are pretty good, though. 4 Queens with the small amount of mutas that will be on the map should be able to hold it up for now. So Petraeus may have been in this situation before, knows what kind of breathing room he has, and is going to just play it a slightly greedier way in order to just get even more ahead as best as he can.
One Overlord sniped, or rather an additional Overlord sniped, and that I believe is now number 3 Overlord that was sniped by the mutas. So that is starting to add up. Petraeus did pull back the majority of his Overlords, so he doesn't have too many stray ones out on the map. There are potentially a couple more out that could be sniped, but we've got more mutas coming out for...
We also have Cybert. The Nidus Worm coming out of Petraeus. Wow. I was wondering what was going on here and why he did decide to go for the Roach and then just not putting down any of those other tech buildings to deal with mutas. You can get a lot of Queens, but how are you ever going to do anything with them if you're not able to get any damage done? And the way he assumes to do it is going to be through that Nidus Worm. Even as a Ling up in the top right corner. This could be pretty intense if Hydra is not suspected coming.
3 additional Queens also on the way, so he's going to have a lot of transfuses potentially available. There's that Nidus network coming down, as you pretty much predicted with that Ling in the top right-hand corner, as mutas and Lings going to be descending upon the Roaches and the Queens, as Petraeus is struggling to actually deal with these forces. He's going to be able to push back these mutas, or at least he should, with this additional swell of Queens as they step forward. And there we go. He has held for now.
He's held for now, yeah, and I think that Hydra has to know what's going on. He might not have been paying attention through all of that and to not hear that Nidus screeching, but if Petraeus is able to get out onto the map with this, oh my goodness, what just happened to the third of Petraeus? I think he either evacuated all of his drones or just lost a lot of drones. Oh.
They didn't get killed. He did have to evacuate them. Way oversaturated in the natural. Into the main go a couple of Lings, but the natural is really going to be under assault. No, now it's going to be the third as Hydra repositions a lot of his Lings. He's going to be even sending a second kind of flank in with those Lings, immediately assaulting the Roaches that are popping over at the third of Hydra. Roach is just now going to start to stream in as Queens also get their slow selves across that non-creep area, and an additional
onto the creep.
Worm.
Yep, and there are some banelings inside of the main of Petraeus. He could lose a lot of drones here, but he's going for the kill. A lot of the drones have been evacuated here as well from Hydra's base. But he's on the creep now. He can spread a little bit of a creep here if he wanted to. The Banes are going in. They're going to get some good kills, getting so many drones inside of the main. And now, are there enough mutas in the sky for Hydra to deal with these queens? I don't think so.
He's only got 8. This is still 11 queens in total for Petraeus, and 10 of them are on this side of the map. There's quite a few transfuses. A lot of them are being used on the roaches to fight the roaches of Hydra, as the mutas now going to be coming around, getting absolutely shredded by those queens. Only a few mutas do remain. Petraeus continuing to step on forward. The spine crawler is down, and the numbers are starting to dwindle for Hydra. Does he have the numbers to actually stand up? Once again, the mutas come in. Once again, they get bashed down super hard.
Reinforcements
off the line, and the reinforcements, as you say, stepping up for Petraeus.
Oh, this is so close right now. The Queens do some pretty decent DPS at this number, but with 2 spine crawlers on opposite sides of the mineral line, are just going to be wailing away this whole time. Hydra has a beautiful concave because Petraeus does have to attack into it. He's feeling confident, though. He's moving on in. He's going to try to push this on back. Oh,
Hydra
my God.
has held those 2 spine crawlers, as you put it. They provided so much of that strength that Hydra needed. 10 additional roaches were added on just a few moments ago for Hydra. He's up to 21 roaches of his own. So he got out those mutas, was able to transition just fine into the roaches, didn't break under the pressure, and of course, as we saw earlier, he ended up taking out the third of Petraeus to even things up.
Yep. Luckily for Petraeus, he was able to take out the third of Hydra as well, as you see them both putting it down. And they have very similar supplies, even if you look at the drone counts, 45 to 44 in Petraeus' favor. This is crazy. It's almost like that never happened. It's just like a regular Roach versus Roach game, except what are the upgrades looking like here? Exact same upgrades right now, except not the ones that are on the way.
The timings on the 2-2 are like so similar, but then as you were referencing there, the burrow and the tunneling claws could absolutely, under the hands of a guy like Hydra, who's got great micro, who can, of course, play the game extremely quickly, even compared with other pro gamers, that tunneling claws and burrow micro could be so beneficial.
It really could, and if Petraeus isn't really ready for it, luckily he will have spore crawlers, because they were there to deal with the mutas from before. So that burrow micro will be discovered as soon as they do reach the mineral line. But this is so crazy. As it has come to this.
Roach numbers have been switching hands back and forth. It's currently Petraeus' favor, but 12 more roaches just about to finish up for Hydra, swinging the roach numbers back into his favor. And then, of course, the case is like, it doesn't even matter who's got more roaches, because oftentimes in these cases where players have more, less, or even similar, almost the positioning and, who gets the better surround, who gets the better flank, decides more so than just the sheer numbers.
We saw that exactly with the defense from Hydra. Not only were the spine crawlers adding so much additional DPS, but Petraeus was attacking into Hydra that whole time, and he was able to make it work with a few less units, but the defender's advantage pulled through in the end. And now we're in the situation where Petraeus is sitting on a slightly better supply count, but that's going to change very soon, as they are very even. And the burrowed roaches of Hydra are just... Look at how the creep inside of the third base. They're going to pop up, though.
6 roach hit squad going to be sniping down 3 drones before getting chased away. Just as burrow and tunneling claws are about to complete for Petraeus, he does indeed chase away those roaches.
Yeah, and this is almost like the static changeling on the other side of the map here in the third base of Hydra, as Petraeus is starting to spread his creep on Hydra's creep, and you know what happens when the creep touches, man. Oh, boy. Ugh. Well, anyways,
Weird things.
We won't go into detail, but yep, you can use your imagination for that one. It is going to be some good scouting for Petraeus to know exactly what's coming out of the third, and knowing the army movement of Hydra as he does move around. Whoop! You got to be careful, though. Petraeus trying to get some damage done himself.
Trying to be a sneaky, sneaky boy, as he does have to get turned around. And he is going to get chased away. Speaking back to the numbers, 66 roaches of Hydra, many of which are moving out across the map right now, a full 10 roach advantage over Petraeus. So if it comes to a straight-up battle and these players aren't particularly, paying attention to the positioning, Hydra could come through in a pretty clear advantage. But there's so many ways for Petraeus to turn that around.
Especially with the Hydras. That's his I guess, what he's going to use in order to try to not have the same amount of roach numbers. And this is where you can die. During the Hydraless transition, he doesn't have the Groove Spines upgrade, and Hydra is looking like he wants to get a bit of damage done. He's going to attack up a ramp, though, so that's going to favor Petraeus right now. Well, Hydra recognizes that he does have the number advantage and catch Petraeus transitioning.
Petraeus with the pre-split, even going to be sending a couple of more roaches, which could be for a bit of a counterattack, could also just be trading away supply so that he can, of course, you know, get away from that maxed out army, step more towards a Hydra-focused composition. There's a little bit of a move forward by Hydra. Is Petraeus going to commit? He could take the defense. No, Hydra turns around. He's going to be chased away.
Yep, but in the meantime, inside of the main of Hydra, there was a few burrowed roaches that tried to get a little bit of damage done, but there were some roaches from Hydra that were able to deal with it. But behind it, that was actually something that I might have missed, as Hydra is only sitting on 46 drones right now, so they were sitting on about 60-ish drones each, and now he's only down to 46, so that was quite a bit of damage right there. Really nice move here from Petraeus then. Kind of missed it, but there's some kind of issue that does happen here, is that the army value for Hydra does potentially have, well, it has the potential to be a lot bigger than that of Petraeus. But Petraeus has the better tech. He has the Hydralisks out.
Burrowed roaches. Oh no, it's going to be an engagement over by the gold of Hydra. Hydras and Roaches going to snipe that down really quite easily, while at the third of Petraeus, the Roach is going to be stepping up, and this, you know, could be a complete surround, but those drones aren't looking for a fight. They just want to get at a dodge, as the numbers are going to be in Hydra's favor with the reinforcements going to be coming in. The Hydras of Petraeus not going to be able to stand, as the fourth of Petraeus also getting targeted down by another Roach hit squad.
Wow, this is such good use of the roaches here from Hydra. He knows that he doesn't have the better tech out, and he's just going to continue to go and be everywhere. Using that burrow, Petraeus doesn't have an overseer here, and you never want to take a fight straight up with roaches against somebody with Roach Hydra. So he's using his tech choices pretty well here, as he does go into what? Does it look like Roach Bane to you? To me it does. No signs of the Hydra Den here, no signs of infestors, as Petraeus is going for that more traditional composition.
Roach, Hydra, Fungal for Petraeus could be the game changer, but you guys can see how far away Pathogen Glands is. 50 seconds on the production tab, while Banelings are already being morphed in. If Hydra is able to get these Banelings into either good splash damage on the Hydras of Petraeus, or even just hitting heavily clumped up Roaches, that could also be very good. 22 more Banelings.
That is so many.
Oh, almost 40 Banelings out for Hydra.
But, whoa! Some of them kind of getting misrallied here, as the map does split out those units. And this gives Petraeus the kind of mindset to say, okay, if I can get these Fungals on these Banelings, perhaps I can eliminate a huge chunk of Hydra's army that he's invested in. Remember, Hydra's not doing the supply trick. He's on a 200-200 army that has a lot of Banelings in it here. 27, as you did say.
Stepping forward onto Creep. He's going to be moving into a little bit of a concave. Petraeus was not as set up as he could have been. Nice Fungals on the Baneling. Catches virtually every single Baneling before the impact, but now they're rolling towards the Hydras, able to snag some of the kills there, as Hydra going to be kind of stutter-stepping his Roaches forward, splitting the army of Petraeus in two more easily manageable sections.
And if he only had one more Fungal there on that big group, he would have eliminated every one of those, but instead, those low-life Banelings went into the Hydras of Petraeus and allows Hydra to take the victory, bringing him up to a 2-0 advantage here. Oh, that was so crazy. All right, welcome back here to game number 3 of the first series of the night. I am Tempo, joined by Cyber. This is the ASL Prime League Season 5 playoffs. Round of 8, for those that were wondering. And we have two wonderful players, one of which could be taking this in a sweep. He is the Red Zerg player spawning on the west side, as he is also here on the west side of United States of America. Give it up for
Root Gaming Hydra.
And on the east side, the beast side, you could say, our yellow Zerg player presently representing himself. This is
My Insanity, Petraeus.
Well here, Cybert. We're looking at a 14 pool out of Petraeus at the moment. Will he add that gas and go? into a kind of 14-14 build. I don't think so yet, as he is saving up quite a bit of his resources at the moment. So, just an earlier pool, but he will be going for that hatchery right after it. And Hydra, the confidence is showing here. He says, "Come at me, bro. I will hatch first right now," as I am up 2-0 right now, and not even adding the gas here.
Not even worried. Hydra's like, you go ahead and cheese me. Cheese me in game number 3. Take your chances. I beat your cheese once. You think you're going to do it again? And certainly Petraeus looked a lot closer to taking the game when they both, opened more economically. In the previous game, they did open pool first. Okay, I'll grant you that. But it was certainly more of a macro game than game number 1. So Petraeus looked his best in that macro situation.
And it was such an intense game. Like, do not forget how kind of crazy it went with the Niduses and the Muta opener and the third base sniping. You look at the end of that game, you never would have expected that it was going to open up the way that it did. So, also showing that he has a bit of creativity in him. I'm definitely hoping that he is able to show a little bit more of that here.
Busting out the weird stuff, trying to take Hydra by surprise, and Hydra was having none of it. As he held quite strong. He looked like his defense might be fumbled a little bit then, but the 2 additional spine crawlers were just such a prominent part of that defense. Evo Chamber on the way from Petraeus. This is a lot earlier than we saw anywhere in the previous games from these 2 guys.
Oh, for sure. We haven't seen a build like this in quite a bit. I'm wondering how he's going to be doing it. Some people do opt to go for the +1 melee attack and just surprise their opponents, able to take out some roaches even when they go for their third base. On a map like Bridgehead, you have a lot of surface area to work with. So this could be pretty cool here. And, even denies the scout. From Hydra. I think this is the last thing he would expect here.
Hydra drops the spine crawler. He doesn't have speed, and of course he's saving up that gas, just steadily mining it away. So is melee going to be what Petraeus needs?
Well, I'm wondering what he's going to exactly do with it. I'm thinking that he wants Hydra to take an early third in response to his, but it will allow him to deal with early roaches. We haven't seen Hydra really go for roaches yet, but look at this right now. Getting the lair and the roach warren. I'm assuming that it'll be 3 gases in total, and this is actually probably the best build that he could hope for to utilize his +1 melee. As long as we see the third come out from Hydra. If he sits on 2 bases and goes for a timing, might not work as well here. But, he doesn't have to commit. He does have the third base on the way.
Petraeus, what a cheeky fellow, snipes down that active tumor. He is going to get into the main base, and of course he did see the Evo Chamber at the front wiggling away. He did run into the main base, and he was able to see the Roach Warren at the front with the Spine Crawler.
Yep. Knows exactly what he's up against and is either reading his opponent incredibly well or just decided to take a chance and hope for the best. But he's going to go get his third base up. Hydra is well aware that the third base is here, but I wonder what he'll go for after that, right? I think he just go for roaches as well because he is getting a Roach Warren and a lair. So this is mainly to get ahead economically. Cancel the third base, kill roaches in small numbers, which are usually able to deal with lings, and kind of go into roaches on your own. So let's see if he's able to actually do it as the lings do go across the map. Hydra gonna look at them though. Is he gonna actually click on them to notice that he has +1?
Directly for the hatch, nearly gets it down as well, but a little bit too much DPS heading in there from Hydra's queens and roaches. Ooh, this is going to get a bit more difficult as we've got another swell of 8 roaches going to be popping relatively soon for Hydra. These lings aren't going to be able to stand as much.
No, he needs to be able to take them down when they're in low numbers. Oh no, Petraeus wasn't able to do anything with them. Hydra
into the
playing it-
main
Whoa,
base,
I
running
spoke too
right
soon.
past everything, and yeah, he's looking for that moment of opportunity. Into the natural, snipes the main. Queen is going to be going directly for the drones. How many can he actually get? He is up drones already, so every additional drone kill could be a pretty big deal. He's now extremely low on a number of these lings, so he's kind of wasted a lot of their HP running around. Can he do the damage?
He has +1 on those lings too. They will kill drones so fast, but he needs to hold here. He has the defender's advantage. He doesn't have the +1 just yet, but with that defender's advantage, he could hold. If he had a spine crawler, I would feel a lot better, but you know, Cybert, I think he's done it. He's pushed Hydra back, at least temporarily. But is Hydra gonna turn right back around? It was a ruse.
He's like, I've totally turned around, even though you can see me with my Overlord positioned quite nicely over those roaches, and Hydra's gonna be heading on. Uh-oh. He's like, all right, you busted into my natural through the front door, but you forgot about the back door, son. He's gonna start working away at these rocks.
Yeah, there's nothing here, and Petraeus was not paying attention. I don't know if he was. He's still sitting at his third base, and has something gone off in his head yet? No. He's not gonna see it here. Oh my god, all the roaches are gonna go into the natural.
GG! As 20 roaches bust into your natural with no units for the defense.
Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to support the ASL by hitting the button now.